Welcome to Cooking 101. I am Mrs. Dean.
And I am Mr. Freid.
Mr. Freid's going to talk about some of the safety tips for cooking. And before that, I'm going to go over to the stovetop and turn it on so it preheats.
Okay, so firstly and most importantly, the kitchen when you're cooking is not a playground. So make sure you're not playing in the kitchen. All right? What you want to make sure you do is, of course, wash your hands before you get started. Mrs. Dean washed her hands before. Okay? So you're going to wash them again.
Yes,
right?
could be.
So washing is important. You want to wash your hands. You want to make sure the counters are clean. You already cleaned off the counters. You want to wash your vegetables so they're ready to go. And we might use this pepper, so I'll wash this actually while Mrs. Dean cooks. Okay, so you want it to be clean. And
I think one of the first things when you're going to cook is make sure you have all the ingredients, because if you put them all out, then you know you have them. If not, all of a sudden you're like, I need an egg, oh my gosh, and you're running over to a neighbor's to get an egg. So just make sure you have everything.
yes, also along the lines of cleaning, if you spill something on the ground, clean it up right away, then wash your hands again. Because whoopsie doodle is not what you want to do in the kitchen.
Especially when you have knives and things like that.
Right. Another thing is with your clothes. You want to wear an apron if you have one. You want to make sure your clothes are not loose, because if they hang over the stove, you could have trouble. Okay? And
I took off my white jacket that I had on before, because white I always spill things on. So also it was long, and I thought it would be better to not have it on.
yeah, you want to wear clothes that if you get something on it, it's not going to kill you. You don't want to wear your wedding dress. Don't do that. I got a tie-dye, so it'll blend right
They're
in.
elementary school kids. They don't have a wedding dress.
Ah, good point. Good point.
Okay.
Okay, so also if you have long hair, I don't, you might want to tie your hair back. That way it's not getting in your face, it's not falling in the food, and it's not
I have to wash my hands again now.
getting in the burners. Okay, so just want to check here. So today we're going to use some knives. I'm going to cut some stuff up. There's two main kinds of knives. There's others, but the two main kinds are a straight edge and a serrated edge. And you use different kinds for different things, right? And I washed these before, so they're clean. Yes, step back, I'm a crazy man. Okay.
Crazy Freid is
So
in the house.
once we get going, I'll show you some knife safety rules when I cut up my pepper, okay? And these are not toys, ever, never, ever. I got a good handle on it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so today we are going to be making grilled cheese. Now, for my son, he likes grilled cheese, which is American cheese, because that's the cheese he likes. Today we're going to be teaching you a 5 grilled cheese, but you really can do whatever you like. Remember, you're cooking for yourself or for your family. So some of the ingredients I have here are bread. I like sourdough, but any bread will work just fine. In this container is butter, because I'm going to show you how to combine butter and Parmesan and to make a nice spread. That's one of the cheeses. Here I have 5 or 4 different kinds. I have a pepper jack cheese, a Colby cheese, a sharp cheese, and also Swiss. Again, if American's a part of it, you would join that there. And I have all my utensils here ready. Again, this is preheated. How I know that the oven is ready to go, I don't touch the pan. That would be unsafe for me to touch it to see if it's warm. Usually I can put my hand over it just a little bit and I can sense the heat. So that's what I'm doing. There's a number system. Everyone has a different stovetop. This is telling me that the right burner is on, and right now it's up pretty high. I might lower it as we go. So we're going to make 2 different grilled cheeses, right?
Sounds good.
For some, I'm grabbing my 2, you can do your 2. So 2 pieces of bread. I make sure that I know how I want them to lay, so I know this is going to be the part that I do the spread and this. But putting that there. If you are like my son, who loves his Parmesan cheese, he's going to do quite a bit in there. But whoa, this adds for good television or or good enrichment courses.
That's
Okay.
quite a bit.
Okay, that is quite a bit. He's like, wow, maybe I should go over the sink.
That might help.
Because your parents, they're not gonna like Mr. Freid or Mrs. Dean if you cause a mess. Clean up after yourselves when it's done.
Always.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so that is my mix-up. I keep this in the refrigerator, so it's ready to go at any time. And you can use a margarine or a butter. There's some people at the middle school that are saying, are you making it for us? If you're here, you should be making it for us. That's nice. So, I'm gonna take some of that and spread it again where I want it to be. If you like a lot of butter, use a lot of butter. If you like little, don't use that much, but you still need some. So, there's mine. I'm gonna hand that to you.
This is
Now,
a big piece of bread, so I'm going to cut it in half. And just use half and half.
I'm going to show them how to cut it in half with a spatula. So I'm putting that on there. I don't have any cheese yet. So
Right.
that's okay. If it's big, I divide it and just kind of lay it on however I would like. To make things easier today, I may not add as many cheeses on. What are you going to do, Mr. Freid?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay, so now the key is not putting the butter facing in towards the cheese. The butter needs to be outside because eventually we're going to flip this. So mine is on there. It's a waiting game right now. So if we wanted to tell jokes, Mr. Freid, we could tell jokes while we wait. What are you going to do?
I'm going to put on some Colby Jack and, oh, this isn't open yet, so I'll take one that's open. Oh, some sharp cheddar. I like sharp cheddar.
My rule in my house is you can't have too many cheeses in the house. Here, it's open.
Okay, it's open now, so I'm going to go with a nice cheddar, some Colby Jack, and a little Swiss.
Now, I have never used this oven before, so I'm really unfamiliar if it cooks fast or cooks slow. You guys will know how your oven cooks or how your stovetop cooks the best. Some are electric, some are gas, so it really depends. So he has his going and ready to go. You
I'm
can
going to do
see
something crazy.
Mr. Freid also didn't bend his apart like I did.
We'll
So
see what happens.
we will.
I'm going to put some basil on here that I just picked from the school garden. I don't even need to cut this. I can just tear it up like that, stick it on. I think I'm going to stick it between the cheeses so the flavor blends better. I like basil, especially
So
fresh.
question, are the students allowed to go to the garden and pick stuff for their food?
Well, probably not right now because of the whole COVID deal.
Uh-huh.
So we're not allowed to be on campus. But hopefully, come springtime, we'll be back at school and we'll be planting stuff in the garden, and hopefully we'll be able to do cooking and eating at school.
You want to put yours on here?
I would love to do.
Okay.
Oh, I almost made the biggest.
Oh, you made a mistake. But guess what? He corrected it.
I put the. Now I've confused myself. Well, let's just see how this works out.
What truly would have went wrong if you had done it the other way?
Well, it wouldn't have browned up as well.
Yeah, it would have burned up, but it would still be the buttery taste, so
Mhm.
that's okay. So they're on here. Now, some people are very specific, with hamburgers or whatnot, flipping them at a certain time. I'm not that way. I'm more of a, I don't want it to burn, so I want to see what it's like. It's okay to touch it because I washed my hands, and I flipped it. Now, mine's a little bit too early. I flipped it a little bit too early for my liking. You guys are going to know what you like better. I like mine to be a nice toasty brown, not too dark, but like kind of that medium brown. And I flipped it too early, but all that means is I'm gonna put it more on that side. Do we have plates in here?
Plates? Sure.
We have food. We have large plates.
Here's a plate. Anybody hungry? Put it on there.
Okay. So, Mr. Freid, if you want to flip yours at any time, 'cause
Oh,
you know
I like
we want.
mine good and crunchy, so I'm gonna.
He's
give
gonna
a
let
little
it
more
wait.
time.
Okay.
Here's some plates.
So, here are some tomatoes from my garden. So you can make it plain with American cheese. You can make it with lots of different cheeses. You can just put regular butter and not have Parmesan. You can add tomatoes later if you want. Sometimes I'll just open it up. I thought bacon would be fantastic.
Oh, bacon's good on
Bacon
everything.
goes good with everything. Some people even put them on donuts. I'm not a bacon and donut person.
No, just chocolate
you?
and donuts.
You're a Boston cream person.
Chocolate and cream.
Mm-hmm.
That's my kind of
And
donut.
my donut, really any. I'll go for any donut. So when you're back and you want to bring us a donut,
Boston cream donut.
Boston cream for him, and I'll just take anything, just as long as you haven't eaten it first. That one.
Yeah, don't take a bite out of it.
Okay.
Well,
So
I still might eat it, but.
I'm gonna switch mine now, and it's still not ready, but I know it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna give that to Mr. Freid.
See what the bottom line looks like. If mine's a little.
Now, if your alarm goes off, the fire alarm, that means
Something's burning.
something is burning. Maybe not a good idea.
Oh.
So
Perfect. Whoops.
I'm going to tell you a slight little hint.
Oh, wait. Before we do it, is it okay if I just leave this in here? What do you think?
No,
I know where it is. It's right here.
it's rubber and plastic.
Don't put your utensils in the box. Even if it's steel, it's going to get hot. You're going to grab it, and it's going to hurt. So we've just been holding it, but a lot of times you'll have a little plate. And probably go off to
And
the
if you put
side.
it here and if the oven's on, that's not good either.
Yep. Here you go. Here's your spatula.
Oh, thank you. Another thing, check with your parents to see whether or not the items you're using are washable in a dishwasher or if they need to be hand washed. My kids are notorious for using a special, not this one, but a special pan I have, and they leave it in the sink. And then I didn't do anything, but I have to wash it. And then sometimes they put it in the dishwasher and it's not dishwasher safe. So, yours looks great, Mr. Freid.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly toasted.
So here's my clue on grilled cheese if it doesn't melt all the way. So, everything looks good on the outside, but the inside is not so good. I just stick it in the microwave for maybe 10 seconds and get the whole thing melted if needed. If that's not happening, maybe you need to lower the heat or raise the heat, depending on it. What's your thought, Mr.?
Yeah, that sounds good. Problem with the microwave for me
Uh-huh.
is if you have something crispy, you put it in the microwave, then it loses that crisp on the outside.
It does get soft.
So it's a tough call.
Mhm.
Best thing to do is just to eat it.
So, we would like to hear from you guys. What do you want us to teach you how to make? If we don't know how, we'll follow a recipe. If we really don't know how, we're probably not teaching it. That's
We'll
my
figure,
guess.
yeah.
But we're gonna try and teach you how to make pumpkin pies. What were some of the other things on the list?
Chili, I think was on there.
Chili.
We're gonna make little pizzas, I think.
Uh-huh.
Pizza, which is my favorite food in the whole wide world. I was
You
thinking-
want to do Boston cream pie, don't you?
No, that would be fine. I like Boston cream pie. Actually, one thing I was thinking, because I have them growing at my house, would be spaghetti squash.
I'm turning yours because it sounded like
It's
it was
perfect.
sizzling.
It looks perfect.
Okay.
So yeah, but what do you guys like? Don't get crazily complicated,
Mhm.
because we only have a half an hour. But, what do you like?
Uh-huh.
What would you like to learn how to cook?
So I pick it up a little bit sometimes to go, that is, you want to get close up? Look at this. I pick it up and go, look at that
delightful.
melted cheese.
Look at the
Now,
melting on mine.
oh, his is not as
Fantastic
melty, but it looks fantastic. So for me, if I want to cut it, I don't get out another knife because knives and pans sometimes don't go well
No.
together. So I take this and I go, and I just divide it in half. Because we have our nice camera person right now that you aren't seeing, and her name is Miss Branson, and she is a student teacher and doing a fantastic job, and this other half of the sandwich is going to be for her, so hopefully she's not allergic to cheese.
That would be
Where is
horrible.
that nice little plate? Because I think yours is ready.
That plate's right here.
Okay, so
Whoop.
there you want.
Yeah, you can serve me up. Now,
Ooh, perfection.
what do you do right now? Turn the oven, the stove off as soon as you're done.
And I take it off the
Yep.
heating area and I put it on the part that wasn't heated at all. So now that can just sit there. Some people like to wash it right away because that's not the
Yeah.
best for your pans.
No.
So
Better let me
now
cool.
I'm gonna take off my mask for just a second.
I'm gonna cut up some tomato
Oh,
because tomato and basil go great together, and tomato and cheese go great together. So I'm gonna
I'm
have
just gonna eat.
tomato and basil.
I'm eating.
Notice I'm cutting down and away. Down
That's for
and
Miss
away.
Branson.
Just open this bad Larry up. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Oh, that looks good.
Throw on some tomato. Put that back on. Now, sometimes what I might do, and I actually brought some of the stuff I put on my grilled cheese. I like pickles on my grilled cheese, but pickles really don't go with basil, so I wouldn't put it on this one. These are chipotle agave pickles.
Oh.
And another thing I like to put on is Worcestershire sauce. People think it's crazy,
Can you
but
say that one more time?
Worcestershire sauce.
But it says Worcestershire.
Oh, I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong. No, it's pronounced Worcestershire sauce. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna just put a little bit right here next to it and dip it in there. You know what's great with grilled cheese?
What?
Tomato soup.
Oh.
You dip your grilled cheese in tomato soup. I love that.
Sounds good.
You could also chop up a pepper and put that in there. But you don't want to go too crazy, because then it's all going to fall out onto your plate, which is generally what I usually do, because I go too crazy.
So, is there anything else that we should say to him?
He needs to take a bite of his.
I
Yes.
have to take a bite of mine. Take a bite. All right. Oh yeah, look at that. Dunk it in my Worcestershire sauce. Oh, magical. And then of course, we're not just gonna leave this stuff for other
No.
people to clean up.
No, but you don't have to stay for the cleaning up part.
No.
And we will say, see you next week. Have no idea what we're making.
Something.
Something. We're making something.